Hello, it's Carrie here from the Female Entrepreneur Association, and welcome to the 10-minute masterclass, your weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So in this video, I want to talk all about TEDx talks and how you can do one, and then how you can get lots and lots and lots of views on your TEDx. This is something that I know so many people ask about. So many people want to do TEDx talks. I am one of them. I was one of them, and I have now done 2 TEDx talks, and very recently one of them tipped over the 1 million views mark, which just blows my mind. It's just so crazy to think that that many people have seen my talk. It's just nuts. Anyway, so many people ask me, how did you do your TEDx talk, and how have you got so many views on it, and all this stuff. And so I thought I would share my story with you and share my experiences with you, because while some of it has come about naturally as an opportunity that's occurred, some of it has also been very strategic. And in fact, I think the reason my talk has had over 1 million views is because I was very strategic about it, because some of the other people that I did the TEDx with that day, I think the person with the next amount of views is about 5,000 from the same TEDx. So I think there's something in what I've done to enable me to get over 1 million views on my TEDx talk. So I'm excited to share with you my story, and at the end I've got 5 quick tips for you for when you do your TEDx, which you're definitely going to do, which is exciting. Anyway, so basically for me it was probably January 2014. I have a memory like a fish, so I could be wrong on this. It was around January 2014, and I received an email in my inbox from a lovely person called Amelie. I think it was Amelie. Like I said, I don't have the best memory. Anyway, Amelie was one of the organisers for TEDx Manchester. I think she was actually a student at Manchester University, and she was involved in the organisation of TEDx Manchester. And as one of the organisers, she'd been doing research to find out who might be a good speaker for the TEDx event they were organising. And she stumbled across me and my videos on YouTube on the Female Entrepreneur Association. And having gone through and watched my videos, she thought that I would be a good fit for being a speaker at the TEDx event they were organising, which is very exciting. So I received this email from her to tell me that she'd come across my videos, she was involved in organising the TEDx Manchester, and would I like to be a speaker? I was like, hell yes, I would like to be a speaker. Who wants to turn down a TEDx opportunity? So I was over the moon, because I'd already had a goal that I wanted to be a TEDx speaker anyway. So I was absolutely delighted that they'd actually reached out and that my little intention was manifesting itself. So the TEDx was set for the 2nd of March, I think, 2014. In the January and February, I was actually over in California, and when I was over there, I was preparing myself for my TEDx. Now, probably since around I think it was 2009, I did my first ever talk, which was the most horrific thing I've ever done in my life. It was to a bunch of about 60 15-year-olds, and they laughed at me because my mouth went so dry I couldn't speak anymore, so I had to stop to take a sip of water. Such a horrendous experience. Anyway, so that was my first experience of doing speeches, and since then I have pushed myself to do them more often. When someone asks me, come and do a talk for us, over the years I've said yes. Thank goodness I did that to prepare myself for my TEDx talk. So I had this one speech that I would do over and over and over again whenever someone asked me, make it easy for yourself, right? And I knew that I was basically going to use the basis of that for my TEDx. Because for me, when I was doing the TEDx, I wanted to take a step backwards, to take a step back and think about it all. Think about, how can I make this insanely amazing? How can I make the most of this opportunity to do a TEDx? So I was thinking about TED as a platform and the kind of people that like watching TED videos, and it's obviously all about ideas worth spreading. So I wanted to figure out how I could turn what I was doing and the message that I wanted to share into something that would really resonate with people that watch TED Talks and would be something that people would want to share. So I refined this talk that I already did, and for me, I write out the script. So whenever I'm doing a talk, I write out the script, and so for me, for my TEDx, it was largely already written. I just had to refine it. So the reason I do this is because when you're giving a talk, if I was to go off cuff and just freestyle it, It would be horrendous. I'd probably forget what I was saying and I'd waffle, and I wouldn't be giving the audience the best I've got because it wouldn't really be strategic whatsoever. Maybe some people are super talented speakers and they can do that, but I am not one of them, and the vast majority are not. We're not one of them. So I think when it comes to doing talks, especially when they're only really short, because a TEDx has to be like, below 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes or something. So it has to be strategic. It has to be well thought out. So I wrote the script out of what I wanted to say, so I knew what I was doing. And then once I had the script written out, I then broke the talk down into sections. So for example, I'd have the intro where I knew I was going to do an experiment, and then I have like little sections of stories. So they were actually colour coordinated, so each section was colour coordinated and each section had some bullet points in, so I knew kind of what I was going to do, what I was going to say and when I was going to say it. And it really helped for me because I'm quite a visual person. I could visualise this piece of paper with all the different colour sections and what came after what. So I wrote out the script, I knew what I was going to say, I had my bullet points sorted, and I'd gone through it and I was kind of happy with it, with the story that I was sharing, and felt like it was taking the stories of that I'd experienced along with some really key tips that I could share to make it impactful and to make it helpful for other people listening, so it was actionable. Anyway, so I did all that stuff and then I practiced it like a crazy person. I probably started really refining it and working on it in the February before the March when I was doing it, because sometimes I think if you work on it too far in advance, I don't know, the pressure isn't on as much. So I think for me, working on it in the February was a good time. So I practiced like crazy. When I got back from California, I started to practice out loud in front of the mirror, doing my speech in front of the mirror to myself. It makes such a difference between doing it in your head or reading it on a piece of paper in your head to then doing it in front of a mirror and saying the words out loud. It just is so different. I'd start off by like being like, hello, like really mute, and then eventually build up my confidence in front of the mirror, and then started doing it in front of my dad. My poor dad had to listen to my talk about a bazillion times. I don't know how he didn't fall asleep on me. Anyway, so then I did it in front of my dad, again completely different to doing it in front of yourself in the mirror out loud. And then I started to rope my other family members in. My brother came and watched it. I think I got my sister to watch it. Poor people. So I got them all to watch it, got them to give me feedback on it, and it gave me a real chance to practice it and with other people watching me. Whenever I was in the car driving by myself, I would always go through my talk out loud. People driving past me must have thought I was a crazy person in my car like this and talking to myself. Anyway, so like I said, I practiced like a crazy person as much as possible because I knew that this opportunity to speak at a TEDx event was one that I didn't want to blow. And in order to, I always say success is no accident. You have to do it on purpose. And you really do. And this was me doing it on purpose. I was so prepared to give it my absolute all, to give it the best shot I could possibly give it. So once I practiced like crazy, once I practiced like crazy, I was pretty much ready for doing it. And thankfully, because I had done other talks in the past, I knew a couple of things about myself. That my two biggest fears about speaking: one, forgetting what I'm going to say. That's why I practiced like a crazy person, because I didn't want to forget what I was going to say. And two, that my mouth can go really, really dry when I'm on stage. It doesn't always happen, but it's happened to me several times in the past where my mouth has totally gone dry to the point where I felt like I couldn't even speak anymore. It was the worst thing ever. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but it's so bad. It's so bad. So in preparation for that, I had to figure something out. So I decided to, I think it came around accidentally because I had some little, the gummy bears. I had them in my car one day. So when I was doing the talk, I had one in my mouth and I was like spitting everywhere. So delightful. And so I thought, I wonder if it would work if I kept a gummy bear in my mouth when I'm doing my talk. It sounds I thought at the time, this is a bit of a stupid idea because what if you choke on the gummy bear in the middle of a TEDx talk? Anyway, I practiced then having a gummy bear down the side of my mouth as I was doing the talk. And the real test came really when I did that in front of my dad. And I said to my dad afterwards, did you notice anything? Did you think I had something funny in my mouth? Did I sound funny? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, well, I have a gummy bear in my mouth. And he was like, oh, right. And at that point, I realised that it helped me to keep my mouth really moist, and it wasn't it kind of was a choking hazard, but it stayed put in its place. So I decided that that's what I was going to do. And then to help calm me down, I also had a little spray thing of this thing called Rescue Remedy. I don't know whether you can get it outside the UK, but it basically tastes like sherry. it's something supposedly natural, but it's supposed to help calm you. So I also had my little spray, I had my gummy bears, had my talk was all prepared, I practiced a bazillion times, I was set, I was ready to go. So the 2nd of March rolls round and I arrive at this venue in Manchester called the Academy, which is a big venue where bands often play at. And I walked in, it was a really dark room with all these big round tables laid out for an audience of about 1,000 people. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have never spoken to 1,000 people before in my life. The stage was massive and they set up like this kind of cool bookshelf. They had a sofa with this huge Ted bear on it, and they had like a table as well. So it looked really cool, but terrifying at the same time. So I got there, the adrenaline was going, and I was the first speaker on after lunch, which I was like, oh, not really the best slot. Everyone's eaten and they're all tired after digesting their food, so they're not really paying that much attention. But I thought, oh, well, whatever. So the morning of the event, I was watching some of the other speakers. I don't know why I bothered, because it just terrified me, because all I kept doing was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be up there soon. I did actually practice my programming my mind for success techniques in the run-up to the talk and before the talk. So it's getting around to when I'm speaking and I'm up in the dressing room and my family's finally arrived and they're excited and I think even more nervous than I am. And I think I did a quick run through with my dad, I think. Just really calmed myself down, had my little bit of rescue remedy spray, had my gummy bear in my hand as they led me backstage, and I was like so cold. When I get nervous, I shiver a lot. So bizarre. And so I was there shivering away and the guy was like, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I think I'm one of those people that just generally looks petrified. Even though if I'm feeling okay, I don't know, something about me must scream, she's terrified. So, but anyway, I was fine. I was prepared. I had my gummy bear in my hand, and as they said, please welcome to the stage, Carrie Green, I put the gummy bear in my mouth. And I walked onto the stage. The moment I walked onto the stage, I owned it. That was it. It was like transformation. No more nerves. Nerves gone. This is TEDx. This is your opportunity to wow 1,000 people. Do the best you've got. Give it your absolute all. And that's what I did. I went out there to perform like I had envisioned doing, like I had visualized doing. I visualized being on that stage so much. I visualized myself giving it the best talk I could possibly give. And I practiced it over and over and over again because I didn't want it to be, I wanted to be successful on purpose. That's what I was doing. So my talk kicks off and I do an experiment to demonstrate how powerful our minds are and how what we think all the time is creating our future for us. So it's a great little experiment and it went really well. This guy came up to the stage. If you haven't watched the TEDx talk, go and watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So the guy comes up to the stage, it all goes really well, give him a round of applause for volunteering. He goes off, and then I created a few slides. It's always good to have slides sometimes to fall back on, just as a security blanket. So I had my slides all ready to go. I'm hitting the slides. There's this laptop in front of me where the slides are on so I can see what's there. And then at one point I turned round to the slides to the right of me and I realised the screen was black and I was like, oh God, my slides aren't working. And so I'm kind of pressing the button and I'm like, do I get distracted by this? Do I say something? Do I not? But I've pointed out about my slides. And so then I was like to Ted, I was like, oh, I think my slides aren't working. So I'm in the middle of this whole thing and I'm like, oh, and this guy, one of the organisers, comes down to the front of the stage and he's literally like this far in front of me, in front of the stage. And he's fiddling around with the laptop where my slides are. Oh my gosh, I wanted to kick him in the face. Not really, but it was so distracting and all I kept thinking, I was talking, I was going through and I kept on going. It didn't stop. But I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget what I'm saying in a minute if he doesn't stop fiddling around in front of me. It was such a crazy experience and funny now. But anyway, to cut this long story short, the slides didn't work and I went and put my little thingy button thing down and I just got on with the talk, and thank God the guy went away, and like I had rehearsed over and over and over again, I just went through it and I gave it my all and really got into it, and at the end had a big round of applause, and it was literally like a relief from my side, and this on an absolute high that I'd just done this TEDx in front of 1,000 people, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and if you've ever done a speech before, you'll know that euphoric feeling at the end of it when you're like, yes, I finally finished my talk. And so this is how I was feeling, and I think, you know, with even the things that went wrong in it, which I think actually have been cut out of the video that's gone on YouTube, thankfully, without me saying, I think my sides are broken. But if I had not have been so well prepared, I don't know how well I would have handled that situation. Anyway, the talk was amazing, and then about... that was in the March. I think in the June, it finally went up online on YouTube. I sent this email to say it's up online, it's here, go and check it out. I went to check it out, and it was called, my talk was called Learn, Do, Achieve, or something like that. I was like, Learn, Do, Achieve? Who is going to search for that on Google or YouTube? If I saw a talk called Learn, Do, Achieve, would I really click on it? No. I was like, no way, this cannot be the name of my TEDx. So I emailed them back and said, is there any chance you could change the name of my talk to Programming Your Mind for Success? Because it was Programming Your Mind for Success, because that's what my talk was ultimately about, success. And I was kind of tempted to go with Program Your Mind for Success, but in the UK we spell program differently to the US and other countries. So I was like, avoid the confusion, call it Programming Your Mind for Success. So thankfully he said he would email TEDx people and get them to do it. They did, thankfully. So a few weeks later it changed over and was called Programming Your Mind for Success. And like I said, like a week or so ago, it went over the 1 million views mark. And I really think that it is kind of tipped over the 1 million views mark because, I think predominantly because of the name, because with TEDx talks, you're looking for something inspiring, you're looking to learn something, you're looking to grow and develop as a person, right? That's why we go and watch TEDx talks, isn't it? And so if a related video, TEDx video, comes up when you're watching another one and it's called Learn, Do, Achieve, are you going to click on it? Probably not. If it's called Programming Your Mind for Success, I think people are going to click on it. I think, yeah, it's intriguing. Oh, I want to know how to program my mind for success. And so I think that has had a huge, huge impact on why it has become such a successful talk. And I think also because I tried so hard to make it something that would be interesting to people and that would be a talk worth sharing. And so obviously people have shared it, people have put it on their own playlists on YouTube and all sorts. And doing that TEDx has been one of the best things ever. I cannot tell you how many emails we get from that TEDx. I can't tell you how many people have discovered me and FEA because of that talk. There's been so many people. It's been incredible. You know, TED is an amazing platform to be able to share your message with so many people. So if you have a message worth sharing, and I'm guessing you do, you have to try and do a TEDx talk. And in a minute, I'm going to share these tips with you to help you to be able to put all this into action so that you can do a TEDx and get it out there and make it successful. Because it's been so amazing for me. It's been one of the best things I've ever done. And without further ado, let me share with you then what these tips are. So the first thing that I would say for when you do your TEDx is you've got to put yourself out there. Put yourself and your message out there in the biggest way you possibly can. So make videos, do a podcast, start blogging. Maybe don't do all three at all the same time because that would be overload, but start doing something. For me, video has been so powerful because, like I said, the person who reached out to me to ask me to do the TEDx discovered me through my videos, like this video I'm creating now, that'll go up on YouTube. It will stay on YouTube. People will stumble over it. And that's exactly what happened. I've done 2 TEDx talks now, and that's exactly how both organisers found me, because they found my videos online. They saw me, they heard me, they got a feel for what I'm like, how I present, the content I present, the message that I'm sharing. And based on that, they decided that I would be someone that would be good as a speaker for their TEDx event. So you've got to put your ideas out there. Start sharing your message with the world in a bigger way. Get yourself out there and get discovered by people that are organising TEDx events. Also, not that I did this, but people organising TEDx, they'll set up a Twitter account, they'll set up a Facebook account. I'm pretty sure that they do TEDx Manchester every year now. So If you live local to Manchester, you could easily get in touch with TEDx Manchester on their fan page or on Twitter and say, this is what I do. I would absolutely love to be a speaker for you, and network with them, connect with them, and see whether you would be the right person for them. So you could do that in your local area and find out what TEDx events are going on in your area that you could get involved with. So that is the message number one. Put yourself out there and spread your message in a big way, because that is how you're going to get discovered. For TEDx and for so many other things too. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. The second thing you need to do is to create an amazing talk. So take a step back and don't just think about the people that are going to be watching you in that room. Think about the people that are going to be watching you online beyond that, the people that are going to see your YouTube video, the TEDx talk when it goes up on YouTube. What message do you want to share with them? What impact do you want to have on them? And how are you going to do it? I would go away and watch loads of TEDx talks and really pay attention to the ones that inspire you and resonate with you, the ones that are the best, that you love. What are they doing? Are they sharing a story? Are they naturally funny and adding lots of humour in? And are you funny, and could you add humour into your talk? Do they take you on a journey? What are they sharing interesting facts with you? What are they doing that is captivating you and grabbing your attention and making you want to share it? Like, if you've ever shared a TEDx talk before, why did you share it? What compelled you to share it? Really think about it and think about how other people are doing them and making them compelling, and then take those elements out and make sure you integrate it into your talk. So for me, I am not a funny person whatsoever, so I thought, humour, let's not go there. I mean, I tried to throw a few things in that might get a little laugh, but that's about as far as I go. So for me, it was about sharing a story. It was about taking someone on the journey that I went through on how I conditioned myself for success, sharing my story, throwing in an experiment to make it real for them, as well as throwing in some inspirational quotes and some proper actionable tips that they could apply to their lives so that it has an impact following on from the video. So for me, that's what it was about. And then I obviously crafted my talk very specifically, very strategically, so that I could have that impact. And that's what I did. So craft an amazing talk. Make it the best you can possibly make it. Literally, don't hold back. Go above and beyond to create a talk that's going to wow that audience. The third thing I would say to you is practice like a crazy person. Seriously, this is your one shot to do a TEDx talk that could potentially blow up and be seen by millions of people. So practice like crazy. I am so glad that I had the opportunity to do other talks before being asked to do a TEDx, because it really helped me to hone my skill at speaking before going up onto a stage like TED where I was in front of 1,000 people. Not all TEDx events are that big. The second TEDx I did, there was only about 100 people there. It was actually an internal event for KPMG, so the video never went online. But still, you want to give it your all. You want to do your best. And the only way you can do that is by practicing and becoming the best that you can possibly be. So as soon as you know you're going to do it, just practice like a crazy person at any opportunity that you get. Number 4 is then give it your all. When you get up there on that stage, no matter how terrified you are, give it your absolute all. Leave the nerves off the stage. The moment you step foot on that stage, you have to own it. You have to own everything you're saying, and you have to put on the show of your life, because those people are sat there in their audience to be wowed by you, to be so impressed by you, to be blown away by you. So blow them away. They want to see you at your best, so give them your best. And I often find that with doing the same talk over and over again, and with practicing a bazillion times, sometimes you get bored of hearing your own talk. But once my dad reminded me of the fact that the people sat in the audience are hearing my talk for the first time, so I have to make it so exciting and interesting for them. I cannot get up there and seem bored. So you have to give it your all, and that's what's going to make it shareable. That's what's going to, like, that enthusiasm and that passion and that energy that you're bringing to it, that's what people are going to share when they see it on YouTube. That's why they're going to share it, because you're bringing that energy to the talk. So go above and beyond to give it your all. Number 5 is come up with a good name. Do not let the TEDx organizer name your talk. Don't do it. Don't do it. You have to come up with a name that you think that people will either search for on Google, on YouTube, something that if it came up in the related search, people would be compelled to click on it because it's interesting. So name it something compelling. there must be so many talks out there that are so amazing but that no one clicks on because they had really bad titles. Don't let yours be one of them. Name it something compelling and something amazing. And that, honestly, I really think for me that has had such a huge impact on the success of my TEDx talk. Like I said, I think if it was still named Learn, Do, Achieve, I don't think it'd have had half the views. In fact, I'm pretty sure that in the first few weeks, other people's talks from the TEDx Manchester were doing way better than mine, having received way more views. And I think it was when they changed it to Programming Your Mind for Success that it started to go up. And then at some point it reached this crazy growth spurt where it just like took off, and now it's just thousands and thousands of people watching it like every month. It's just crazy. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. But I really feel like the title of it has had something to do with that, because I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but the other people that spoke at the TEDx event the same day I did, I think the person with the next amount of views is 5,000. I mean, I could be wrong because I might have missed someone else's video, but I'm pretty sure it's around 5,000. That's crazy. We talked at the same event on the same day and their talk was really good too, but theirs has only got 5,000 and mine's got over 1 million. And then I started to think, well, my talk was all about programming your mind for success, so maybe there really is something in my message that I'm sharing about conditioning yourself for success. Who knows? No, there definitely is. But that's the thing. You can do this stuff. I know you've got an amazing message to share. TEDx is an amazing platform. So prepare yourself. Like I said, put yourself out there. Get discovered. You will get discovered. Put yourself in a position so that you have to get discovered, whether that's by going and knocking on their door, or contacting them on Twitter and being like, hello, I'm here, I've got an amazing message that I want to share. Put yourself out there and do it, because like I said, it's just the most amazing platform. I think anyone that has a really powerful message to share needs to get on a mission to get it shared on the TED platform, because that's when your message can go viral. That's when millions of people will see it, because it's such a powerful platform. So you need to get yourself on it. And I know you're going to get yourself on it, otherwise you wouldn't still be watching this video. So anyway, that's my experience of doing TEDx talks. Like I said, the impact's been phenomenal. And if I can get over 1 million views on my TEDx talk, then you can get over 1 million views on your TEDx talk. No questions asked. Just, I think, follow a few simple steps, and it's doable for every single one of us. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it inspiring. I hope you're like, yes, I'm going to do a TEDx video now, because it's so good. So make sure you do it. And also, if you have actually done a TEDx talk and you're just watching me because you're interested in hearing about my experience, then share the link to your TEDx video in the comments below, because we can all watch it. I would absolutely love to see it. So leave a link in the comments below, and share any experience or tips that you have on you doing your TEDx. And also, if you know anyone else who really wants to do a TEDx talk, then share this video with them, and hopefully it will inspire and empower them to do their TEDx. On a final note, if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure you subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and you will get my emails every week a new video in your inbox every week, along with usually some exciting goodies. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass. Bye everyone! Thank you so much for taking the time to watch one of our videos. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I've got something really exciting that I would love to send your way. We have created the Make It Happen guided visualization for you to listen to every single day for the next 30 days to help you to condition yourself to make incredible things happen. And along with that, we have the Make It Happen workbook to help you to get really clear on your goals, to get so much focus and clarity, to make a plan of action so you know what you need to do and when you need to do it. So if you would love us to send them your way, then all you need to do is subscribe to the email list below, and they will be on their way to you. So definitely do that and come and join an incredible group of women who are so passionate and determined to achieve amazing things and build successful businesses. And I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass.